Hello and welcome to this Norbord, my cabinet guide video on how to assemble an appliance housing for the IT range. This unit comes in two packets, the tall end and the shelves. It's advisable with the tall appliance housings, the larder unit and the fridge freezer housing to assemble them as close as possible to where you're going to be using them. That way there is less likelihood of damage when you stand them up. The first thing I'm going to do is open up the shelf pack and remove the fittings. I'm then going to stand the shelves to one side, lay my end panels out, keeping them on the cardboard to protect the panels. Inside my shelf pack, I have a base panel. This is the one with the two sets of holes in it. Two shelves, 1, 2. Two fixed shelves. The fixed shelves only have one hole in them and they are not grooved. Two oven support rails. All the fittings required to assemble the unit. You also have these two metal bars. On the assembly guide they're marked as X. You need to use these only if you're making up a fridge freezer housing. And the last panel is my top panel, and there's the groove. In each box there is an assembly guide. Please take the time to read this as there is useful information on here that will help you to build your unit. It also tells you what items are in the box and the minimum tools required to get the job done. I'm now going to lay my end panels on the floor, open up the pack, and as I said earlier on, keep the panels on the packet to protect them. Inside the tall end panel box, you have your two ends, and you also have two back panels. Now I'm going to lay my end panels out, so I have a left and a right hand panel, and to do that, I'm going to put it so I've got them groove to groove. This guide provides details for creating a 600 and 900 aperture for oven fixings only. For other appliance combinations, you should refer to your kitchen designer. If you're going to make your unit into an oven housing for a 900 aperture, follow the assembly guide, and it says here to create a 900 aperture, and then if you count up the number of holes that you see in the panel, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is for your base of your oven. And then continuing on, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And that is where your top of your oven will go. It's the same for the 600. If you're going to put a 600 oven in, again count the number of holes in the panel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And carrying on, it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that is where your top of your oven will go. If you're making this unit into a fridge freezer housing, you only require the two side panels, the bottom and the top, and those two metal rails, as I mentioned earlier on, which are labelled X. And they go here and here to hold the back of the unit together so you maintain the 600mm size. I'm going to make this unit now to fit a 600 oven. So I'm going to mark on here where my shelf's going to go, so that's here, and that's for a 600, and also here for a 600. So I know where my base of my oven goes and the top of my oven goes. So opening up the fittings bag, the fittings that you get for this unit consist of the hinges, two fixing brackets, you use these to fix the unit to the wall, your metal cams, your metal dowels, the wooden dowels, some 30mm screws. You use these to fit your oven support rail. These two screws are for joining two units together if you have a unit next to this one. your shelf supports and the 15mm screws that are required to fit your legs and other bits and pieces. You can use a cordless screwdriver to put the fittings in on your unit, but we would recommend a handheld screwdriver because that way when you're putting the fittings in you can make sure you don't over tighten them. The metal dowel has a red sleeve. There are two reasons for this. The first is when you're turning it with a screwdriver you can hold on to it to make sure that it goes squarely into your panel. And the second is that it means that when you insert your other panel into it, it means that it's a lot tighter joint. The metal cam has two arrows. There is a directional arrow, and this arrow here should always line up with the hole that's in the panel you're putting it in. The way the cam and the dowel work together is when you actually put your panels together, it's like this, and what you do, you turn the cam and it locks the two panels together. So you turn the cam and it all pulls it nice and tight together. So as I said earlier on, this is where I'm going to put my shelf for my 600 oven. So I'm going to put my first fitting in here and screw it into position. And making sure that I follow the same line, I now put my second one in here. So now I'm going to fit the fittings for the shelf that goes above my oven. I'm going to repeat for the other side, and at the same time I'm also going to put the top and bottom fixings in where necessary. Okay, I fitted my metal dowels in the correct position for a 600 oven. I'm now going to put my wooden dowels in. I'm now going to tap these in the 8mm holes until the sound changes. That's far enough. Repeat for the other holes. I'm now going to fit the cams to my base panel and my shelves, not forgetting to make sure that the arrow is pointing towards the raw chipboard side, and if you're not sure which hole here to use, it's the one that corresponds with the hole in the end of the panel. And repeat for the other end. The top and base panels are both drilled exactly the same. It doesn't matter which one you put at the base of the unit or which one you put at the top of the unit. Now I'm going to fit my top panel, making sure that the groove is towards the groove on my panel. Insert it like this. Tighten the cams up as you go to make sure you've done them. 1, 2. I now repeat for the base of the unit. Like that. The next thing to do is to fit the shelf, which will be the base of your oven, and then the shelf that goes above your oven. So fitting the shelves like so, keeping the fittings towards the bottom of the unit so they're not seen. And repeat, as I said, for the shelf that goes above your oven. These two shelves are the fixed shelves. The adjustable ones go in the spaces here. Okay, so I fitted my base, my shelves and my top panel. I'm now going to put one of my oven support rails in. Now this goes below the shelf that your oven's going to sit on, making sure when you fit it, it doesn't go over the groove here for your back panel. So like that. Then taking the 30mm screws provided, you then screw this down. Like so, and repeat for the other two. As you can see, this back panel is far too big because you need to leave an open space for your oven. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit it correctly, mark it at the bottom, take it away and cut it, and repeat for the top. To put the second end panel on safely, it's advisable that you have a help. And here's my glamorous assistant. Okay, so what we're doing is we're just turn it onto its, that's it, like that. Position it so that the dowels go into the, that's it. Thank you. Tightening the cams. Making sure that the back is in its groove. Working my way down the unit, so I've done the top. Now I'm doing my shelves. At this point, I'm going to turn my unit so it's on its front, so I can fix the back panels into position. So I'm now going to fix my back panels into position, and to do that, just mark it like this. Take your drill, drill a quick pilot hole, and then using 2 of the 15mm screws provided, fix your back panels into position. I'm now going to put the unit onto the side which I haven't fitted the oven support rail on, fit that, and then we're going to fit the feet before we stand the unit up. You have 2 L brackets. These are used to secure your unit to the wall. There are 2 choices where you can put these. You can put them here, which means you can gain access to them through the opening for your oven, or if you wish, you can put them at the top of the oven housing here. So I'm now going to fit my second oven support rail. It goes in there, and again, using the 30mm screws provided, screw it into position. I'm now going to fit my legs to the bottom of my unit, this end. Your leg pack contains either 2, 4, 5 or 7 legs. You will have a leg boss, the leg itself, and the plinth clips. Your legs are preset at 150mm, which is the height of your plinth. It's preset on this lug. The leg is screwed down to that, and when fitted to your leg boss, gives you a height between the underside of your unit and the floor of 150mm. So the remaining holes in your base panel is where you put your leg bosses. You push them in, making sure that the lug is on the end panel. So repeat for the number of legs you have. Once you've got them positioned correctly, taking a hammer, just tap this lug until it goes flush with the top of the leg boss, like this. What that does is stops the leg boss pulling out. Taking your drill, drill 3 pilot holes. And you need to do 3 per leg, and then fit the screws. Once you've fitted the 3, repeat for the other leg bosses. Once you've done that, it's then time to fit the legs. So position the leg in the leg boss. You can either push it down. If you're not sure it's gone all the way down, taking the rubber part of your hammer, just tap it. You now have a gap of 150mm from here to here. Okay. And then repeat for the other 3 legs. Your plinth clips come in 2 parts. Just snap them in half. What you do is you slide them together like this. For safekeeping, clip them to the legs at the front of your unit. This way you won't lose them, and you know exactly where they are when you need to use them to put your plinths on. Carefully lift the unit up, stand it on its feet, and then move it back to the wall. Don't drag it. So, using my assistant, we stand the unit up. Now carrying it back to the wall. Okay, I've now got my unit in position. I've fixed it to the wall. I'm ready to put my oven into the housing itself. Don't forget this is the 600mm opening. I can now position my shelf in the top and bottom as required.